So I've got a top 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It is the top 5 teams that can crash the playoff party.
Okay.
Wait for it. Hold on a second. Here we go.
High five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Rich's top 5.
What if I did, in fact, transition on this program every time with Dax? Here we go.
We should do it for one whole day and just see how it goes.
No, we shouldn't. I'm
hour?
already sick of it. And I love Dak. Dak's going to the playoffs. We are going to hear
Dak's
a
balling.
big game in January with about 60 to 80. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right.
I wish you
These
guys
are
been paying
teams that
attention
are on
all
the
year.
periphery of the race. Either they're currently barely in a spot or they are sniffing it right now. Entering week 14 of the National Football League. Here are the top 5 teams that can crash the playoff party. Number 5. They are your Super Bowl champions from a couple years ago. And the guys in our studio who love to sell their tickets for this game to somebody else coming into SoFi Stadium to root against the Rams. That's what you do.
I gave 2 of my
Only
games away
Rams
for
fan.
free.
I vet who buys my tickets.
But the Los Angeles Rams guys are proving
They are.
your fandom is required to let everyone know whose house it is.
Rams house.
Hey, man, this is Kyron Williams, right?
Is he first round
Dude,
fantasy next year?
right? I mean, if you were smart enough to snag him in your waiver wire a couple of weeks ago.
You are going to be a winner, I think.
And I'm sure people dropped him when he got hurt.
They shouldn't have.
This Rams team, Stafford finds Kupp and Nakua and, you know, Robinson started scoring touchdowns for him. You know, I mean, this guy, Sean McVay's dialing it up, and Aaron Donald still plays football, and the young guys on this defense are balling out. And the Rams, you know, they've got a tough game in Baltimore, and then they're home for Washington, home for New Orleans, at the Giants, and then a game at San Francisco to wrap things up. Maybe the Niners are sitting people? I don't know. They might want to spit their last Week 18 breath at the Rams if it's to make the playoffs.
Right.
So I think they can they crash the party and maybe make a run. Number 4 on the list. Not going to quit on them, even though they just lost and Russ threw a pick in the end zone to wrap up their loss to the Texans. I still think the Broncos can crash this playoff party.
Oh, you do, huh?
I do. I think the Broncos have the defense to do it. I think they need to get their running game going a little bit. And every single time you think their passing game is totally out, Russell just balloon one up to Cortland Sutton and he'll catch it. He did it again in Houston this past week. So Denver's remaining schedule, they're at the Chargers. I think that's a winnable game for Denver for sure. And then they're at Detroit, which is a big night game on Saturday night on NFL Network. They're on Christmas Eve against the New England Patriots. They're home for the Chargers, and they're at Vegas. I think they can finish up strong and crash the playoff party here. Certainly if the Steelers and Browns keep losing. Number 3 on this list are the Houston Texans. I think they're going to wind up in this playoff spot. And I know you said an Overreaction Monday on Tuesday earlier, maybe as the AFC South champions, if C.J. Beathard needs to play an extended amount of time and does not perform up to snuff with Trevor Lawrence out with a high ankle sprain for who knows how long. How good is Will Anderson, by the way?
I think that trade was worth it.
Dude, 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Because they're not getting Will Anderson with their pick in this upcoming draft. Go up and get him.
No
I
way.
love the aggressiveness. When you see somebody you think is a difference maker and can make your new head coach look good in year 1, hell yeah. My only problem for them is this. My question for you is this. When Dameon Pierce is trying to get a 1-yard touchdown and is a mosh pit, what the hell are you putting Tank Dell in the play for to try and block on the 1-yard line?
He's 150 pounds.
And I know this is totally 20/20 hindsight because he broke his leg on that play and he's out for the rest of the season. What the hell?
Yeah.
Why is he even in there? I couldn't believe when they're like someone's down and it was Tank Dell. I'm like, wait a minute, he was in on that play? He was blocking on that play? What the hell was that for?
I'm with you.
And that is also very fantasy related. Just to kind of get that off my chest.
And just a bummer because he's been such a breakout star this year.
I said that kind of, facetiously.
Yeah.
I still think he should be on the podium for Offensive Rookie of the Year. as is one of the three
He's been
finals.
dynamite this year.
Okay, number 2 on the list are the Green Bay Packers. I think they're going to make the playoffs, and even, Chris, you had an Overreaction Monday subject today that they're going to win a playoff game.
Feels like it.
I said this yesterday on Monday's show to Chris Long. I said to him, hey, dynamite pass rush, quarterback who is playing at a high level, a run game that can get you the yards, a head coach who knows how to do it and he's deep in his bag, an offensive line that can protect. That sounds like a playoff team to you, doesn't it? And one that can win in the playoffs. That's the Green Bay Packers right now. Watch, they'll take a stumble against the Giants because the Giants, you never know what's going to happen with them. So
DeVito's starting this week.
Yeah,
that
Tommy
said,
Collins.
though, I think Green Bay is going to crash the party here. And number 1, I'm not quitting them. I refuse to quit them. I won't quit them. They are number 1 on the team that can crash the playoff party, and they are the Buffalo Bills. Yeah. You bet. They've got the best quarterback in this mix right now. They have coming off a bye. They've got one of the best receivers in the game coming out of this mix. I love what Dalton Kincaid is growing into. The run game is beginning to blossom. What they did in Philadelphia, damn, they just made those mistakes that came up to roost on them. And they've got a tough game, clearly, in Kansas City with the Chiefs coming off of that loss. You don't want to face them coming off a loss. They are ornery. That's what exactly happened in Germany against Miami. They're going to treat that game just like this one. But I still believe, despite them being 11th in the AFC at 6-6, they have the stuff. And I think they've figured out what's going on with their offense. They're number 1 on this list.
Do you think we need one more?
I will give you one more.
All right, we'll get one more.
Yes, indeed. I had an either-or depending on last night's result. And last night's result hit. And I'm not saying
You gotta do it.
clearly we didn't see Einstein in the commercial, so I'm not running an okadoke on you.
Thank goodness.
Hey, the Bengals. Again, the tie breaks
Why
are
not?
not
Why
going in
not?
their direction.
But
They're not going in their direction. They are 0-4 in division, 2-6 in conference. That is terrible. But they looked like the part. They looked like the part on both sides of the ball. They looked like that tough team because Jake Browning was doing Burrow-like stuff. And if I have the number 1 team on this list, a 6-6 team that's 11th in the AFC because they've lost a game to Cincinnati, I got to put Cincinnati in as a one more to see what they can do.
Brilliant.
I believe so. They are not the other one. They are not completely.
Kaput.
They're not. They are still in this mix, and that is my top 5 plus 1 teams that can crash the playoff party. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.